In the headlines tonight, National Bank of Ethiopia is to permit movable assets as collateral for individuals to get loan. Ethiopia needs to implement blue economy to improve livelihoods of citizens. Good evening to you all. A very warm welcome to ETV News. I'm Grum Tariku. Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced that an agreement has been reached to pardon and repatriate 245 imprisoned Ethiopians in Malawi. The ministry stated that 245 Ethiopians were being held in various prison facilities for violating immigration laws. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has sent an investigation team to the site after the government of Malawi announced weeks ago that 30 people suspected to be Ethiopians were found buried in a mass grave in northern Malawi during an illegal migration to South Africa. During its stay in Malawi, the team held discussions with the heads of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Malawi Police Service, and the Malawi Immigration and Citizenship Department. The Foreign Affairs investigation team's discussion with Malawi government officials on the status of the investigation of the mass graves, the accountability of suspected criminals, the availability of detailed information on the Ethiopian in prison, and possibility of their release and return to their country have been successfully concluded. In the discussion, it was agreed that 245 Ethiopians who are in prison all over Malawi will be released with amnesty and returned to their country. It was also mentioned that an agreement was reached with the International Organization for Migration of Malawi to repatriate the prisoners. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs investigation team has completed its stay in Malawi and headed to Zambia to investigate the situation following the death of 27 people suspected to be Ethiopians in a place outside Lusaka. The governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, Yinager Dese, said a proclamation that enables individuals or entities to use their movable assets as collaterals for credit will be announced soon. Ministries of Finance, Planning and Development and Revenue are discussing with regional planning and revenue bureaus in Arba Minch town over the pressing financial matter. Johannes Van Town presents more on this.
The governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, Yinager Dese, speaking at a forum where government institutions that are stakeholders in the sector hold consultations, says that financial accessibility in Ethiopia is increasing from year to year. According to the governor, the growth of financial access in the last 4 years has its own characteristics.
Finance ተደራሽነትን በተመለከተ ባለፉት 4 ዓመታት
Access to finance has increased over the past 4 years. The number of banks are constantly increasing. Microfinance institutions are increasing their branches all over the country. The growth of digital banking systems such as mobile and internet banking have increased. Every year in the country, the number of people opening bank accounts, savings and banking customers in various forms have increased.
The governor of the National Bank indicated that there is a progress in access to finance, but compared to East Africa, the access to banks in rural areas and the working age financial accessibility is very low.
Compared to East African countries like Kenya and Tanzania, banking access is very low, especially in rural areas. In addition, access to finance for working age population is low.
According to the National Bank of Ethiopia, there are about 330,000 debtors in the bank and 6 million debtors in the microfinance, and the total number is not more than 6.5 million. The governor also revealed that a proclamation has been prepared to allow the use of movable property as a loan assurance and preliminary preparations are underway.
የተንቀሳቃሽ ንብረትን በዋስትና ማስያዝ በተመለከተ
We have prepared a proclamation regarding bailment of movable property. As you know, our loan system is secured by fixed assets. In a country with more than 110 million people, there are only 330,000 bank debtors because the credit base is based on fixed assets. Now a proclamation has been issued and preparatory work is being done.
የተንቀሳቃሽ ንብረትን በዋስትና ማስያዝ አዋጅ ወጥቶ እንቅስቃሴ ተጀምሯል። የቅድመ ዝግጅት ስራዎችን እየሰራን ነው የምንገኘው።
Banks and microfinance institutions are undertaking preparations for the successful implementation of the proclamation that will be officially launched soon.
National validation workshop on the baseline assessment report on the contribution of blue economy to the sustainable economic development of Ethiopia is being held in Bahir Dar. Bahir Dar University, in collaboration with the Ministry of Transport and Logistics and IGAD, have organized a workshop to adopt a national blue economy strategy in Ethiopia. Attending the event, Chief of the Amhara Regional State, Yilqal Kafale, underscored effective utilization of water resources is key to the country's economic endeavors. Shagai Mata has more on this.
Blue economy is any concept related to an integration of water-related economic activities like fishery, tourism, hydroelectric power, and maritime. Bahir Dar University, in collaboration with the Ministry of Transport and Logistics and IGAD, have organized the workshop to review the draft baseline report and create national blue economy platform of Ethiopia. Attending the event, Chief of the Amhara Regional State, Yilqal Kafale, underscored effective utilization of water resources is key to the country's economic endeavors, adding the region established the water-related agency to oversee utilization of water resources.
I really appreciate and we welcome the development of the blue economy strategy to use on the context of the region. In this regard, the Amhara Regional State has already understood its importance, and thus we have established the water-related office or agency to oversee the utilization of these resources. This agenda, particularly the blue economy strategy, would be very important just to adapt and utilize by our agency so that we can use our resources to our economic endeavor and success.
Minister of Transport and Logistics Dagmawit Moges, for her part, indicated that her ministry has developed national transport and logistics policies for the implementation of national blue economy strategy.
Ethiopian Maritime Authority, under the guidance of our ministry, has immensely endeavored in establishing a conducive environment for the blue economy strategy development. By critically evaluating our strengths and weaknesses in the paths we have taken so far, in line with the external environment and also benchmarking international best practices, we have developed our national transport and logistics policies, which are the foundations of several subsector strategies, a 30-year master plan, and a 10-year perspective plan, and other actionable roadmaps we are currently implementing.
Director of the Agriculture and Environment Division at IGAD said IGAD is committed to provide all the necessary support for sustainable utilization of blue economy potentials for the socio-economic development of the region.
The key objective of this last 2 days event, it was, as I said in my introduction, to validate under the national consultations about the blue economy its service strategy. So now we come up with the final document. So I want to stress really that the blue economy is one of the priorities of IGAD, and it is reflected well in the new IGAD Regional Corporate Strategy 2021-2025. I would like to assure you that IGAD is committed to provide all the necessary support for sustainable utilization of the blue economy potentials for the socio-economic development of the region.
The National Blue Economy Strategy that makes use of water resources was signed between the Ministry of Water and Energy, the Ministry of Tourism, and the Ministry of Transport and Logistics.
dear viewers, now I'm preparing to host the news package of the day. Our reporters are always striving to present you fresh stories on Ethiopia's socio-economic and political affairs. And we, the presenters, we always strive to present to you the stories in a way that you can relate to. Before I head to the studio and present myself to the audience, I have to look presentable.
Hello dear viewers, I'm Tabitha John and this is Addis News Hour. Do stay with us.
Welcome back and you are watching ETV News. Renowned Professor Alemayehu Gebremariam said that Prime Minister Abiy's US-Africa Summit resulted the rekindle of the Ethiopia and US century and quarter-long relations. The power of conversation is that it almost always improves understanding and helps build relations, Al-Mariam noted in his latest article. Tigsaris has more on this.
Professor Alemayehu Gebremariam, who teaches political science at California State University, San Bernardino, wrote an article titled PM Abiy in Washington, D.C. He came, he saw, he conquered with nothing than integrity. Al-Mariam pinpointed in mid-December 2022, Abiy Ahmed went to America to attend the second US-Africa Summit, and he too is entitled to declare, Veni, Vidi, Vici, Abiy Ahmed came, saw, and conquered with nothing more than integrity, sincerity, probity, positivity, humility, reason, logic, common sense, candor, confidence, fair and open-mindedness, good faith, goodwill, and love. For the past 2 years, Ethiopian-US relations have been at their lowest point. The writer describes the bilateral relations over the past two as hostile to the point of being mortal enemies. Even though here is no public record what the two leaders talked about formally or chit-chatted informally, the body language of the two leaders spoke volumes of the details of the discussion the article reads. Both leaders were relaxed and mirrored each other's body languages. Based on a forensic analysis of their body language, it may be reasonably concluded they shared feelings of friendship, comfort in each other's presence, common understanding, trust, goodwill, rapport, and appreciation, Al-Mariam highlighted. The writer argues the 2022 World Cup brought Ethiopia and America together after 2 years of strained relations, to put it mildly. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and President Joe Biden watched the game between Morocco and France and chit-chatted. A scientific study shows there's a tribal love among football fans. Al-Mariam says all belong to the original tribe from the cradle of humankind. The power of conversation is that it almost always improves understanding and helps build relationships. People talking with goodwill and in good faith can do a lot of good. Prime Minister Abiy has proven beyond a shadow of doubt the irresistible power of conversation and dialogue in solving problems. In 2022, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed brought about a peace agreement resolving the conflict in northern Ethiopia and ensuring all differences going forward will be resolved by conversation and dialogue. Prime Minister Abiy and the Ethiopian Parliament set up a National Dialogue Commission to resolve problems in Ethiopia through conversation and dialogue. In 2019, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for initiating a conversation and dialogue with President Isaias Afwerki and together ending the no peace, no war situation between the two countries. In 2019, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed also played a key role in helping during conversation and dialogue the contending parties in South Sudan achieve a peace deal. Ethiopia and Kenya have been key allies in Somalia's peace and security matters, particularly in fighting terrorism and supporting the African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, and strengthening regional security. Prime Minister Abiy was the first responder to resolving the decades of animosity between Somalia and Eritrea, helping the two countries establish diplomatic ties. Prime Minister Abiy was the first responder to the easing of tensions between Eritrea and Djibouti. Prime Minister Abiy was the first responder in mediating maritime border issues on the Indian Ocean between Kenya and Somalia. Prime Minister Abiy has been Africa's first responder for peace. Unfortunately, those blinded by ambition for power and those willfully blind to facts refuse to acknowledge Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's role as an African, indeed global peacemaker extraordinary. Contrary to the wildest expectations, the professor says, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has changed the dynamics of the US-Ethiopia relations during the 3 days of US-Africa summit. The writer went on narrating on how the meet-greets in talks that Prime Minister Abiy has had during the US-Africa summit resulted the rekindle of the Ethiopia and the US century and quarter-long relations.
The 70th Global
It's expected that
Ethiopia is what Ethiopians
Our news is always aired on Monday to Friday on 11 a.m. and 9 p.m. and also on Saturday and Sunday on 9 p.m. Make sure to follow us.